Good evening. I'll call the Thursday, June 1st, 2023 Town of Rome Board meeting to order. Roll call from my left, please.
Minter here.
Jumati here.
Cole here.
Barheit here.
We'll certify the posting of the meeting.
I certify that on Friday, May 26, 2023, the agenda for the Town of Rome Board meeting for Thursday, June 1st, 2023 was posted at the Rome Town Hall at 3:50 p.m., Quick Trip at 4:10 p.m., Nakusa Port Edward State Bank at 4:05 p.m., and emailed to the Wisconsin Rapids Tribune at 3:40 p.m.
Okay, I'll ask for the approval of the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Is there any discussion on the agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 5, Pledge of Allegiance. Number 6, citizen comments. Do we have any?
No comment cards.
We'll move on to number 7. No action contemplated except possible referrals to future agendas. Informational updates, meeting recaps, recent correspondence, current events, and announcements. A, Adams County Highway Commissioner's correspondence regarding ATV-UTV route application. We have before us the letter that we received from Patrick Kotlowski, the Highway Commissioner, regarding his denial of our request. And I had asked that Jamie forward that on to our highway, or to our
County Board Supervisors.
our county board supervisors, which we have 3 of those in the town of Rome, one which actually sits on the highway committee. And you should be aware that there is a highway committee meeting coming up in June, later this month at 4:30 p.m. on Thursday, June 8th.
Yes.
If you want to attend, there's no agenda that's been posted yet. They meet at the Highway Department on County Road F in Adams. I'm not sure if they do allow public comment, but you can watch for that agenda on the county, Adams County website. And again, there is one of our county board supervisors in the town room that does sit on the Highway Commission, and I encourage anybody that's watching, if you want to attend and follow this matter, and voice your concerns or interest in having them reconsider his denial of our request. The other one that's listed here is B, Adams County Solid Waste Notice to discontinue commercial and residential garbage and recycling, collection and subscription services to the town. Jamie, is there any information that you wanted to provide on this with your notice?
So I did include in the packet the memo from the county manager, Cynthia Haggard, which went through the reasoning of why they would be ending subscription service. What this means for the town, and I think others here have experienced this with their own individual businesses or entities, is that Adams County will no longer be providing collection for the town hall, the EMS building, police and EMS building, Dairy Q's, the library. We'll all have to find another hauler to get the waste disposed of. The Adams County had to make a decision due to a number of reasons that are outlined in Cynthia's memo. So they will stop that subscription service as of June 30th. We do have a series of individuals here in town that also have that service, that curbside collection, and that will also end. Municipalities that have town or municipality-wide collection, they will continue to honor those contracts, and they may renew those contracts, but that would be the only curbside collection they'll continue doing.
Okay. So do you have anything for us, Supervisor Minter?
Just that at the Lester Library in Rome, the summer reading program this year is Camp Kindness for children up through age 18. Registration opens on Monday, June 5th, when the library opens at 9 a.m. And for your reading efforts, you will receive, what are they calling it, book bucks that can be redeemed at the camp store. It has a camping theme to it this year. And unlike in previous years where you saved up all your points till the end of the program and then got your prizes, you can redeem for prizes as soon as you have the required number of book bucks to get whatever it is you're wanting to do. So encourage all families with children between 0 and 18. So even if you read to your child, it counts. They don't have to be an independent reader. Come out to the library this summer, read a bunch of books, and participate in Camp Kindness.
Do you wanna mention the shred event?
Oh yeah, the shred event is this Saturday in the, I think it'll be the library parking lot or next door.
They'll be in the former
Former
Aspirus.
Aspirus building. Okay, so it'll be next door at the former Aspirus building. It is for paper only. Please also make sure that any paper clips and staples are removed from said paper. Messes up the shredding machines. And that'll be between 9 and noon. It is free, but they will be taking free will donations. It's sponsored by the Friends of the Library.
Supervisor Cole, anything?
You'll hear this often, but as a reminder, official information about the town, go to romewi.com. Official tourism information, go to visitromewi.com. Those are the places that have official town information and tourism information. Also go to the website for the town. And also, we'll have a meeting before this, but the Mini Mutter is coming up at the Tri-North Winter Park. That is Saturday, June 17th, and it's 10 to 3 p.m. You do need to sign up for that, and it is really a fun thing for kids that are 14 to 15 years old. I think Jamie's been to it last year. We've had like over 100 kids come to this. So it's really fun. The kids can come and get muddy, and I think the parents can get muddy too if they want to kind of run alongside them. So that's a fun event. And then if you go to the Draft website, I'm not going to read all these dates, but Draft has a lot of summer guided hikes this summer. I think there's about 2 of them every month. The first one's June 16th. That's a on-road bike hike, 12 to 15 miles. And there's others, July 8th. They go on throughout the summer. So those that want to get out and get active and take a look at what Draft has to offer. Draft is Discover Rome Area Family Trails. Get out and get some exercise, and that's a really great group. So that's all I had.
It's our Rides and Guides Summer Tour.
Oh, there we go. See, it's got a clever name too.
Got a
Rides
theme.
and Guides. All right.
Supervisor Bauerheit?
Yeah, the band shell is progressing on schedule, so the septic system has been installed. And Jamie, did you have anything from Josh about when they were going to be able to waterproof the roof at all?
That I don't have an exact date on, but they are working diligently.
Yeah, they're working every day, so that's good.
Okay.
Oh, I hope it's waterproof after today.
All right. We'll move on. Discussion and,
Madam Chair, I just
Yes.
wanted to give one additional update on Apache Avenue. They did start on the project from State Highway 13 to County Road Z today with the pulverizing. The remainder of the project with the adding of the gravel and the paving will work from County Road Z to State Highway 13. They started with the pulverizing today from State Highway 13 to County Road Z because they want it to be through the transfer site area as quickly as possible so they could maintain access. So that was why they went that way instead of the other way, but
so they can maintain access to what, though?
to the transfer site during open hours through the weekend and on Monday.
But they're not gonna start the paving
No.
from that side?
No, they'll start the paving from County Road Z to State Highway 13.
Okay,
Gravel, they're hoping to have everything pulverized by next week Tuesday and would start the gravel next week Wednesday. That's the hopeful timeline.
So Jamie,
Okay.
you say they're going to start the paving where? At 8th Avenue, you mean? Or
No, I'm on the other side.
at 13?
Yep.
they're starting at Z and working towards 13.
You're going west to east with the
Okay.
paving.
Because they started the other way, from east to west.
With the pulverizing so they could be through the transfer
Okay.
site. The rest will go the other way. The
Right.
rest of the project will go the opposite way.
Just don't go that way.
Yeah, stay off of it if you can.
Okay. Discussion and possible action on the following items. 8, The board may go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Stat Section 19.85 Sub 1 Sub C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Clerk treasurer position interview and review applications.
So I move that we go into closed session per Wisconsin State Statute, Section 19.85, Sub 1, Sub C.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Do we
go
need a
into-
roll call vote?
Yeah, I haven't
Okay, I'm
finished yet. We have a motion and a second to go into closed session under Wisconsin Stat Section 19.85 Sub 1 Sub C. I'll take a roll call vote starting on my left.
Minter, aye.
Jamadi, aye.
Cole, aye.
Bar height, aye.
All right, we'll go
We're
in.
now in closed session. We will exit over into the administrator office. Just a friendly reminder for those that are here in the room, the cameras stay on and the mics stay live.
Oh, you can sit, they're going into a different room. Oh, they're gonna. Yep, they're leaving, they're going in closed session. Doing good, how are you? That's always good though. Get us another winner. Everything's good around here. There's the lake where we look at it, and the mailbox. I was inside the building, so I didn't see that. I was just following them quick, I call them trucks. I started quick, and I got under one of their gas pumps, and stuff for a while, and go. What was it that predicted last night? They called it popcorn showers. During the heat of the day, showers would pop up and it would cool off a little bit and they disappear. They would heat up again a little bit and they pop up again. And there was plenty of thunder going with them. Well, I was in Rapids, so. I was. And the wife went back there and I haven't seen houses and shit. She called up, she wanted me to stop this something. I was just going by Walmart. And it was raining cats and dogs here. And here it wasn't raining a bit. And I told her I wasn't gonna stop no more. And it stopped raining, Sultan, where the four lane goes to lane. Dried up about a half mile. Then I got to the, 10 mile or 14 mile creek area, started to rain. I hit the county line road and dried. And I got the principles of raining again. Just break this out. That's all right. All those people that complained about winter, I don't wanna hear a word out of their mouth. It's all good. We needed the rain, I'm glad it rained. It goes slower though. Yeah, it'd be nice if it was just a slow rain at night when everybody's sleeping. But good enough to water the grass. You missed the order form? Yeah, we'll take a 1/4 inch an hour for about 6 hours. But tell me why I got a garden with I'll start with my mother, all out. Never had rabbits eat my tomato plants. This is the 3rd planting I put in tomato plants. I only put 4 in, so they put much difference. Came right to their own, and now I'm gone. So we'll see if they're going again. I might not have any strawberries this year, or tomatoes, excuse me. Never had a new tomato. Rabbits seem to run in cycles. What? Rabbits seem to run in cycles, same way that squirrels kind of do, but squirrels are more predictable. It's a little bit dependent upon the predators. Oh, yeah. Owls, hawks, and eagles. Oh, yeah. Primarily, but there are coyotes winter
they
it's
get-
diseases and shit, so. Yeah, we got hawks, you know, too many rabbits. I think we'll restore wolves. It's an old walking horse barn, and the rural barn's connected to it, it's been dead for years. But the guy's got feral cats. We don't even have to cover the boats all winter. Because there's no there's no bird shit in them, there's no mice, no nothing, just feral cats. In fact, when he's gone, in the winter, it takes off a couple weeks, I gotta go out and supplement feed him.
My cat is a very good hunter.
That's the worst part about storing bulls, storage units, man, you can't keep the mice out of them. Unless you throw stuff in your bowl. But now they're gonna ban my bowl.
Too big?
That's what I'm waiting for, I guess.
Oh.
We've had to wait for boats since '99. We'll see, we've got a different town board term now.
I don't know. I don't go on lake. I haven't been on lake in years.
My grandkids are using them now. You were here last weekend, but one weekend. So, usually we put boats out, there's only 4 on Sherwood. I never saw them pulling a wakeboarder or a surfer. That's how the boats are destroying their lake. I see a lot of tubers all the time, big pontoon boats and big boats and stuff, but that's okay. Yeah. But I'm just appreciative of you.
Why me?
You know, the out there.
My last day is next Friday.
Who's taking over?
I don't know yet. But I will be retiring next week.
All right, congratulations. Do they have someone picked?
No, not picked yet.
Are they gonna pick someone?
They are.
Who's gonna run it?
Well, we're talking about one of my staff,
Oh, okay,
so
okay,
we're
now,
still kind of going through
yeah, okay, I understand
working
that.
through all that.
So, you could have passed the work if I could say that.
Well, yeah, I think Jamie and
Yeah, okay.
them guys will, yeah, they'll be, I don't see why they wouldn't be proud.
I took a whole year off of the last year, and I hunted almost a lot.
Yeah, you did hunt back there a lot.
I took one too, no, during hunting season, I took another bull. I got it on a bull, but, yeah, I just like watching it. That's a good thing.
We like to watch them too, although you come over by the office there, the water tower, you've got that gate open. They come in, and then you gotta leave the gate open
Oh,
at the
yeah.
end of the day, or you can try to chase them up, then they try to jump the barbed wire fence. And it's like, just leave them alone, leave the gate open, they'll find their way out.
I've been around the area for 50 years, and I've never seen as many deer in the neighborhood as we have now. And so I think they realize they're protected in this area now,
Oh, yeah,
and they,
have you moved in?
well, they've kind of moved in. I read something last year that doe can spend its entire lifetime on a 50, 60 acre plot
Oh,
of land.
smaller now.
And the only thing that'll chase it off would be dogs, wolves, or a buck. Being as how it's protected, we don't really have predators. You might have a couple domestic dogs, I suppose, but
You have wolves here,
we have what?
you have wolves here.
Yeah, I don't think we
You
have very
pack
many.
wolves right out here, I can prove it.
I know we've got wolves here, but I don't think we have very many in the
There's 7 or 8.
subdivisions.
There's 7 or 8 within a mile here.
Well, they get to go where they want to go.
Right.
And we've seen bear track too, but
Oh, bears are around here.
I don't think they're a predator for
You just
a
don't see
deer.
bears. No, the only time that bears get the deer is when they're fawns.
I know they've been talking about harvesting some of them, and I think it came up at the last town board meeting.
Yeah, they got some, either the Madison or Stevens Point putting together a game plan for the deer.
Yeah, thing started in Madison where the town had to send some representatives down there to fill out forms to
What
figure out.
started it is 2 years ago. I got permission, I went through rigmarole to get up town own land. Yeah, 2 years ago. And I had permission, I went through the whole shoot match. Met with the town board, police ground check, met Jason a couple times, shot. And then there was a couple people that called him, said they didn't want deer killed, so I couldn't hunt it. Got kicked out, which is fine, that's the rules. A year later, they had a committee started that there's too many deer here. I'm just hoping that they go into different towns and they let them, professionals are coming to shoot them. I just hope they don't shoot any of the big bucks that are here. There's some monster bucks here.
I think they use guidelines for what they harvest.
And shoot the does. Let me
And-
shoot them bucks.
What the farmers, if they have a problem with the deer on their fields, are allowed to get a permit from the DNR
Well,
to take X number of deer out.
yeah, we did that. We
If
did
they
that.
still have a problem, they can get another permit and take some more out.
Right.
But here in a residential area,
Oh,
it's,
no.
it's different,
Okay,
which makes sense, as it should be.
but Little Shoot, we live in, our permanent resident, you know, we live here to a change of tax things. They have a park down on the river that they allow citizens, you have to be a citizen of Little Shoot to get a permit to go in that park and shoot, just to thin them out. You gotta go through the same stuff, but background check, resident, shooting test, and that's how they get rid of the problem. They just let the hunter come in and take them rather than be a professional, because they're doing the same thing, they're shooting them in the dark, and that's, they're just gonna come and shoot them like Sherwood Forest, that's what all, Sherwood Forest, there's a couple other spots.
And they said every subdivision probably has 15 to 20 deer in it right now. And every subdivision would be like Kingsway
Oh, yeah.
or Penrose or 9th Avenue.
Well,
or-
we've been at 11, 13 Kingways since 97. We don't see any deer in our property. We don't even see deer poop. They don't come that far east. You know,
On
Leisure
Kingsway,
Way, off Kingsway. Leisure Way, they come about a half a mile, quarter mile probably, into the corners, the first corner, where the A-frame is, where you guys are. And that's about as far as, you very seldom see on the road, but when you get on Leisure, in fact, by that, tavern there right across the street from you guys there, there's like 6 of them, goes and fawns that live in that field. You go by there almost every time and see them.
we were hardly even doing firewise down on Kingsway to the east of the lodge and
Yep.
the Camelot Lodge. And there had to be 20, 30 of them that were in there watching us cut the wood out. And
Yeah, on the south side of the road or north side? South side?
they primarily away from the channel, so.
Yeah. They're all, south side of the road is all private land, I can't get in there.
That would have been the north side, yeah. And they're everywhere, so.
Yeah, and I don't know if people are complaining or not. We're not, so I don't care. My wife just plants the right kind of flowers and junk that the deer don't bother.
The wife gave up on the garden now, and some of the flowers, the tulips are gone, I don't know what else she plants, but the deer have a appetite.
What I found was funny is, they used to bait Adams County, everybody did. I mean, we had motion detectors set up. Deer come and feed, kids would watch them, you know? Then they stopped it. Well, all them deer had been coming in people's front yard for umpteen years. Now they come into their front yard and they ate up all their flowers. And then people learn how to plant flowers. I think went real good. And then COVID hit, and all these people had very seldom been up to their places, or they bought 5 acres and they started planting flowers. And the deer come in and started eating all their flowers. But they didn't plant the right kind of flowers, I don't know. But there's 3 developments at dusk, before dark. Cause you don't wanna get into it after dark, cause you gotta shine a light, you don't wanna do that. You can go see 15, 18 deer. You go around Sherwood Forest there, you can see 20 deer.
If we take a hike around Penrose there with the dog for a walk in the evening,
Yeah.
we're gonna see a minimum 10 and likely we'll see 20 of those, so. Somebody
Has
said, well, aren't
anybody
the deer
seen-
cute? Well, I think 2 is
Has-
company, 3 is a crowd, and anything over that is a herd.
Has anybody seen fawns yet?
Yes, yeah,
You see fawns, okay.
yeah. I don't know if they're all birth, but
No,
it's-
they're just starting. Probably been doing about a week or two.
yeah, I saw some twins the other day.
Cool.
It seems to be more common nowadays. It's more common now because they're protected in this area
Yeah.
and because it's a more favorable environment.
They got
Gold,
food. And the young, you're more happen to see the younger fawn or the younger does producing twins because they're more fertile, they're healthier, and you get good winters. The older does will have the single fawns.
you look at the herd of deer we got, and I swear they got the CWD because they look terrible.
Right now,
Yeah,
oh yeah, they're losing their winter hair.
well,
No, they're the mangy right now.
they look bad 2 months ago too,
Yeah,
so.
It takes a while, I don't know. CWD has been in the States since I've been a kid, it's been Colorado their whole life. I can't remember last time I bought beef in the store. Maybe that's why I'm crazy.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I eat venison here. In fact, I gotta grind some up tomorrow to make more hamburger.
I've had some really good venison and I've had some really bad venison.
I just like being outside in the fall. I mean, I got a place to hunt I can see deer every day, almost every day, at different times of the day. They just come walking through, and, you know, it's just neat watching them. See, there's a difference between hunting and killing. Killing in the state of Wisconsin, if you can't kill a deer between the middle of September till the end of January, you better stop hunting. Killing. But hunting is when you're in your blind, tree stand, whatever it is, and have multiple deer walk in and walk out and not know you're there. Not a single deer, but 3.
I used to go hunt and get from me to the lady here away.
Wow.
You could damn near get them with a knife if you wanted to.
Just don't sit, you just sit still. And me, I sit on the ground, so it's even more of a challenge. That's all right.
Years ago, I sat on the ground, now I know better.
Hmm?
Years ago, I sat on the ground, now I know better. It's too hard to get up. Yeah, it's all part of it. It's raining again, huh?
Hmm?
It's raining again. Right now.
I wanna go fishing.
No, you don't.
Sherwood, we've been catching, I've been catching a little bit, you know, bigger on the pond. Nice, I would take small fish.
I'm surprised to find out the cost of stocking fish is now $1.50 a crappie and damn near $3 a walleye. Wow.
It's hard for, like, I'll just make on Sherwood, because that's what we have. Walleyes don't reproduce on it. Well, they do, ain't very many. So it's just a put and take. Couple, what was it, 4 years ago, 5 years ago? DNR come and put the second year walleyes in, they'll let them grow an extra year. And Sherwood, and they were gonna do that in maybe 19 and 21, and I never did find them. I knew they did the first year. I don't know if they did it the next time.
You see any of them after they planted?
Pardon?
Did you see
No.
any of them after they planted?
other years, I don't know.
The way fishing is.
What?
It's the way fishing is. It's dependent upon a lot of things.
I was having a good time. I was catching them big blue ones. And I was last weekend.
We are good eating.
One of our boys, we got 9 kids, some boys do this. One of the boys, his wife, grew up in the New London, Shopton area.
long as your sand float's 25 feet deep.
Right. Have you ever shot a well? You know what that is? You know what it is? Back home they have sand planks. And your sand is long enough to sink. You put a tripod over it, take the pump off, so. The tripod, put 22 caliber rifle down inside of this fire, center it, and shoot it. It hits that water, it vibrates, and all the sand comes over. Because then you got a piece of lead on it, on the other thing. Yeah, they did that a lot, yeah.
And they're done
Shoot
that.
well.
I've heard the term, but we never,
Yeah, we did it for one of our neighbors.
okay,
Okay.
but it does work, huh?
There's a
Put a welder
welder
under,
is a
control the
sprinkler
water pipe.
system.
You wouldn't think that
We
20
use
would
welders
be
in West Bend.
Yeah,
that effective, you know?
just don't touch it.
Well,
Yeah, no, we use welders in West Bend.
I really don't know anything about guns. per se.
Here I use, we have a jetter.
I know
Steamer.
that's
Back when I
what
worked
they
with
use.
the Army,
A thing
we
or
had a
what?
glue,
Very effective, huh?
a couple hundred feet. They buy hoses, which gotta buy them 50-foot lengths or something. And they got the blocks in it.
You can see closed session until the end of the meeting, don't they?
So we were working with
Yeah.
them. Somebody called.
This is a new thing.
See what they're talking about. Chocolate is, that's the whole thing.
We've got a lot of, we've got most of this. It will be here for an hour.
Our room only had the, also was
And you don't
15
know what
degrees,
the one is gonna last.
So we put the same system in the heat and it's
When you watch,
such.
Channel 300, does that tell you how many people are watching?
I was coming to
That
say, well,
doesn't buy anything.
if
The
they're
only
all
thing
set,
you will
ready to
see
check
is
all
if
the lights come on. you put the
someone
flashlight on
is
right
like in, actually
Looks
the
up
front
and says
row,
the top
yeah,
right that
now
way.
sometimes.
Yeah, right. I was talking better
Yeah,
than that.
but no,
Rolls
you
up on that thing and grabs it,
you don't know
starts
how
shaking.
many are.
And it turns like a
Or in my YouTube, whether it's a mass or whatever.
You want me to touch it?
While it's live,
Right.
it usually tells you how many viewers there are.
Yeah, but yeah,
Not all the way down, it's only down a little bit. Yeah. I ain't walking out there, it's already wet.
I don't think it's.
Like a car.
Think you'll melt?
Just only open
Does he
one.
think he's gonna melt?
It's straight down range.
He would melt. I don't think so.
I ain't getting soaked. It's already soaking wet. Wait till it stops raining.
And this.
Got both for it.
I had home with these
Everything else.
in 1985.
But you see a driveway, it comes around the corner, water comes all in the driveway.
No, you think we could
The olden days, they had transformers that
According to.
set on the sidewalk,
Thanks for
down the
letting me
lot
know.
line. Plugged up this thing, this thing plugged up the driveway. I'll sit up.
keep it in the meeting.
Talked as quick as I could.
Pressure, right? Two by two poles in there. Snowball, we got that. Last snowball.
That was this a bit.
Lifted it up.
Interview?
Right, why is that car here? Picked it up, threw it. I know it's behind the wood pile, I think. Don't think she's so wet, it's like a little- It's always right now. It's always blocking us with the upset.
Yeah, they were like the ones I like.
Dirt. Put the, Talker dam in my driveway, so I can get the water to run down in the right way.
I have one too.
Well, they're meant to be wet, aren't they?
Oh.
Red small.
Not one, not one in it.
Oh, details.
Slowing down.
And not.
You wanna use my umbrella seriously to go close your window?
Yeah,
Yes, I do.
we've got them caught on.
I didn't hear that he didn't have an umbrella. I have an umbrella.
And you get wet and cold fast.
And I turned off this section, so I just had the front part off. So I just, I keep whatever, then I'll keep on.
My son is a chief engineer.
Oh,
California.
right there as
So
well.
out to the parade of
Oops, I gotta put my reading glasses back on.
Who doesn't?
Hope it's covering the whole area because it missed me last time.
Really fast. And we're all done, I think.
Yeah, we're right up there, yeah.
We're heading back to San Diego that night. I don't remember where all our.
Oh, which direction construction
from
isn't
the desert
moving.
to San Diego, but we left a little bit late, and he didn't have the power. And it was like 55 degrees.
See that restaurant?
That's it.
It's right where we are.
Oh, perfect.
It's
I think that's
where I'm
the
sitting
oldest
right now.
convertible ride I ever had.
It needs to go a little to the west, though.
You could say a little bit too sensitive. It was, at that point, I decided.
Moving
I owned the ATVs, and that was one thing.
from the southeast, southwest, it was a big, it was a big one.
You know, that's nice. It's one big, asset. And, you take me to the top too. So, I still think.
Except for your size, you're too big.
Our Jake was telling some of those UTVs out there, maybe not highway, but definitely small.
There's some UTVs out there that are 3 seats long, plus they have a box on it. I think they're as big as my pickup truck.
Exactly.
They cost as much as your pickup truck.
Yeah, some of them do, yeah.
So if you ever use me out there, and I
So
have
is
a
it easier
little
for your
Jeep, you know, I just gave you.
As long as you're paying your recreational trail fee
So I paid for like license plates and,
for DOT areas,
yeah,
not the
well,
DOT.
also for the state.
Try to find the pictures.
No, I just, yeah.
Or you don't like them side by side?
Don't like what
You
he's
don't
got.
like them side by side?
She just said as long as you can use the side by sides on the road, should be able to use the Jeep on the trails.
Yeah, they're too wide.
My Jeep is not as wide as some of these UTVs out there.
Maximum width on the trail about is 64 inches, 65 inches maybe. I think you'll find some Jeep is wider than that.
Well, I can almost bet that it's 65. I
UTVs
cannot lay end to end on my Jeep. I'm 5'2". So I'm 6
Oh my goodness.
The width of them, though.
No, I'm,
Have you ever?
you know, we have to.
Length you aren't worried
I
about,
have
you just
done
state width and weight.
Well, I won't say much.
And the weight, don't quote me, but I think it's 3,000
For
pounds.
some shit, I'm free to put my face in the water.
Yes, there is.
But
I
like,
know.
put my face in the water.
What do you-
I wanna-
Got
It's
three-wheelers
easier
and
than I thought it
four-wheelers.
was gonna be.
And then the UTVs come out, they were wider. They couldn't put them on the trail until they got the law.
Yeah, that's
And
what
I
you
would
do.
think your Jeep is.
ATVs are all gonna be 48 inches wide, outside of the rim to the outside of the rim, and they were allowed to be 900 pounds. A lot of UTVs went over that. Well, they weren't just heavier, but they were also wider. For a maximum width allowed is 64 inches. Outside of the rim to the outside of the rim, the maximum
Not
weight of
including the fenders and
the fenders
the
and
rim,
the
meaning
mirror-
the
mirrors,
rim of the
There you go,
tire.
that's what you get.
just
Because you said
outside,
rim.
outside of the rim to the outside of the rim, right?
Okay.
The tires will bulge out a little further, and, the mirrors up stick out further too. And
Yeah,
that's
what
not,
is it?
that's,
Yeah.
that's not a consideration, okay?
went down
Yeah, but then the weight
and it just.
is 3,000
We went down
pounds.
and.
Well, I'm
Shipwrecks and stuff, like.
What kind of Jeep is this? CJ5?
Yeah,
Wrangler?
it's Wrangler.
I'm just like,
I gave it to I should know that I ordered all kinds of possible. They're
Okay, you
home.
should know that.
And they bought a bigger set, they're living on it, and the Bahamas area.
I'm pretty sure it's a Jerry.
The old man knows.
I know.
Got a four-seater?
Well, should I go play the lottery?
Yeah, that's right.
You don't need a house, do you, Chad? Well, just take your money.
So you got a clutch?
Yep,
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Big tires?
very big.
Oh.
What is yours?
And
How tall are they?
pedals, and you only have 2 feet.
He introduced it, but he didn't say.
I don't know, but I started driving
How tall are
stick
they?
many, many years ago.
How tall are they?
Probably 32s, maybe 35s.
Okay.
What?
Your wheel diameters.
All I know is that they.
No, they aren't huge.
Where do you
For
run?
the two that had the,
Where do you run
that
around
a few
here?
years ago, I
Well,
sat with them.
we just got it last November, so I haven't found any Jeep Club or anything.
County Trunk D, Highway 13, Apache.
Well, I run it in, we're basically other than the
Dirt.
trails.
Unless you take it on dirt.
Yeah,
I,
I
with that LAFA that we have going on, if you're looking for a place to hold, we have a Division Two. Division Two is four-wheel drive vehicles, like the Jeep or the 4Runner or whatever, you know. And I think some vehicles are too big for it, but, and they have certain places they use it off-road. And Jeep is the preferred vehicle. Some of the guys that use the 4Runners and all, they've switched to Jeeps. And some of the places they ride, what's one of them, I think, over by Tigerton. There's a park over there. And they've got ravines, they've got hills, they've got rocks, got everything else. And I heard that every so often they turn them over there. They kept them on their side, which is kind of like what they do out west when they get to Utah and Wyoming. And,
Well, I'm not doing that, I don't want,
well, you could.
I don't want to.
Oh,
That's too much investment in it, hell.
How much was it today? May I ask what the sticker price on? I don't care what you.
It wasn't, I didn't know I was, but it's in 2015.
They covered 30,000, 25,000?
It only had 64,000 miles. We couldn't find anything under 120,000 miles.
Right.
We found this one for 16.
How far did you go to get it?
Lacrosse.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yes, I remember when I was there.
That is really,
They had the extra green.
It wasn't a lot, but it was soft in the middle, crusty on the outside. It was awesome. There's a recipe for it online.
It has heat. During the summer, it's gonna be all open. I don't need it. We have another vehicle, you know, if we're going a long distance and I need air conditioning, but for the Jeep, I don't need it.
He's got hard top or convertible top or anything?
It has a hard top and soft top. They had upgraded the radio.
So in the summer, you're gonna have top down.
Top will be off during the summer.
I'll give you one minute, I had convertibles in my life. In Wisconsin, be very careful at night, because no matter what happens, it gets damp. Sure,
I'll do that.
You had to park them in a garage. There was probably only, the convertible I had, 4 years, four summers. Loved it. But there was probably a string of under 5, 6 days where I could let it out, and it didn't get damp in the summer, no matter what.
Yeah, we've got technically 4 stalls around,
Oh, I'm
so
saying.
it's always in my, yeah.
Yeah, when we moved there in 97, all these trails and stuff, you go anywhere you want with your pickup trucks. And I did, I grew up in northern Wisconsin, which we did, come down here, we just drive around. Which was fun. The coyote hunters. Coyote hunters still go wherever they want with their four-wheel drive trucks. They don't care if it's a trail, the paper mill land, they don't care who it is.
Well, there are a lot of people that just, you know, I'll do what I want.
Where this stuff came from.
a lot of people don't consider other people's concerns legitimate or not.
Well, you consider other people's concerns, which also look at what the law is, and, you know, but
One of our boys was $279, get called off trail. That's right. Shallow, on the trail.
Trespassing is trespassing, right?
you come
I,
across my
yeah,
land.
that's what I need to.
We work with the ATV community a lot.
Yeah, I know,
And I can't believe,
um,
we work with the ATV community as trail patrol. We're volunteers.
What house was it?
The entire state of Wisconsin, but we base on Rome here. And this is
I know I could get on there
our,
anytime I want, my neighbors are very,
our
very
stopping
close.
grounds.
But, you know.
And we have a lot of riders here because it is a recreational friendly community.
And next year, we have a trip.
But with the riders we have here, people come in from far and wide.
Which is something else.
And they're not in their backyards, they do whatever they damn well please.
All more education.
Yes, and
Maybe the year
It's
after that,
also not,
another trip to
during
Monson.
education, there is so much information
ambassadors. And
Cause I sit for these people for like 35 years.
yeah, I have
Tomorrow? That's what we're looking for.
Winnebago and River. Anyway, we've been doing it for 20 years. And when we started, I think there was approximately 100,000 vehicles, and they're mostly ATVs. Some of them three-wheelers, some four-wheelers. Now there's 500,000 vehicles, and it saw a big jump during the COVID epidemic. And a lot of people want,
Outside.
a lot of people wanted to get outside, and they had,
Soccer was canceled.
they had $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 they could drop on a
Now,
toy.
now do you belong to a club?
We belong to 3 clubs, yes.
So you belong to which club?
The Monroe Prairie Club around here,
Okay.
Castle Rock Family Riders on the other side of the river,
Yep.
and then WAPA, which is a statewide organization.
What's the first one? Town Road one?
Monroe Prairie ATV UTV Club, one of the largest clubs in the state.
Okay.
We have
You
400,
guys have people and trails in this area right here?
we have about 50 miles strong.
Okay, cause that's what I would be interested in.
We've got,
Cause if you live here, I'm gonna take care of trails here.
we've got 12 miles north of D back here,
Okay.
down where the Bentley Hills used to be. We've still got probably 8 to 10 miles down there. And then Sand Valley has deeded us 2 for 1 miles for what they took when they bought the, well, they bought it,
Hey,
but they're deeding it back 2 for 1.
You know,
And so we have another 30
you know where
miles.
the big buildings are down there in Big Hills? When you come in there, we used to take our snowmobiles down there.
Oh, yeah, we've had
And
exactly.
climb,
we went
make a trail up and down, build a fire,
Snowmobile?
the kids would have hot dogs and
Oh,
shit, the kids
you
would
remember
slide down on
Snowmobiles?
toboggans down that hill, some of the big hills back
Oh, I'm the
there.
secretary. What did you
Well,
name?
we've been snowmobiling for 50 years.
Oh,
We've only
geez.
been
Here.
I don't know why I didn't
where'd you
recognize
get
you.
yours?
Donna, I
walking.
had my hair up and
Okay.
probably was.
Sorry, Donna.
It was a Yamaha.
I probably haven't seen
Yeah,
you since
won't
last
do that again.
summer. I think when we did the, or the picnic.
I got my first
Yeah,
one,
probably the picnic,
1967,
I have-
eight-horse canoe.
in early riding.
Well, that's what we ride now.
I
So.
have
We
major
used-
health issues
Oh.
and
When the
sinus
kids were young,
issues,
we'd ride
so
5,000-6,000 miles a
I'm
year.
later in the
Now,
morning.
because
and
our
I'm
snow
still up
conditions are all
at
in
1
here,
o'clock
sometimes
at
it's
night.
less than a
Oh,
frozen.
see, I'm not
No,
a,
I had one point.
a morning
I
rider,
tried
but
to
I
get
am right
some
now
little
because I'm
girl.
taking care of Jim Fisher's
One
dog.
point. My wife
Because
and I
he's
own
in-
9 of them.
He broke his hip, and the dog has
So
me up
now,
at 5 o'clock every
I
morning,
own
so
a
he's got me
93
trained.
Safari
When
dog,
I out with
right?
our dog, I sometimes at 10 o'clock
And if I
have
call
to
her
go
the-
wake him up to go.
Let the kids have, we got probably eat her.
I was so mad at that dog, you know, because I had the job
Yeah,
interview
can't
today.
ride them no more.
I needed a good night's sleep, and
All
it was
our
the
kids
first
have
night he
been
decided
riding,
to get up and wander around
I
the
don't
house.
like to
And then he'd
trailer
stand outside my bedroom
anymore.
door and bark at me.
See, where I work
And-
in Park Falls, you just look
And
in
then
the
today we
garage
get to
door.
work and all he wants to do
Price
is
County,
sleep. I'm
Yeah,
like,
North Price County.
you.
In fact, we grew up
And he's
halfway
the,
with Park
we
Falls.
got him at 9 weeks,
And
so
Monaco,
he
Oh.
doesn't even
7,
leave
like
the
Lake
yard.
Shore.
I mean, all I do is open the door, let him out.
Perfect.
In fact,
And
my
then he
father
comes, sits
was
there.
in charge
What kind of, I think you had him at the picnic
one
last year.
time.
Yeah,
He was in charge of all
Holly
the
Golden.
national
Oh,
forest.
cute,
He
cute,
was in
cute.
charge
Yeah,
of all
I
the
believe you just
construction
brought
and
your
maintenance
kids
of all the
came
national
too, right?
Instead of talking.
I don't
about
have a
her.
problem
Your
with
kids came to the picnic too.
back of my
right?
hand.
Yes,
grandkids
yes,
are-
yes, right,
That's
right.
changed a lot now with
So that
the
was
way
nice.
it's managed.
Oh, buddy.
MBT,
I gotta share pictures. I love sharing dog pictures.
MAPs or whatever.
I don't have grandkids.
The snowmobile trails,
That's my favorite dog.
those are those wonderful.
What type of work dog is it?
People start in the mountains,
That's
and
Jim,
they go as far as
Jim's
the
dog.
west,
It's
the
a
Campbell,
yellow
and then they
lab.
turn
Let's see
around.
if I can.
Why no work dog when you live out to the town?
No,
office?
Park Falls,
We used to ride from here to Michigan. And we did it quite often, every year we do it. Even the kids would ride it, you know, when they were
They're just complicated.
Yeah, I'll just have to take our word for it.
Up trails, actually, they actually started pretty much.
trick me. Screws and brackets in the spine. So when it gets super cold, it's getting really cold. It's getting better than when I first had that, because now that natural bone is more. It insulates it, but there are times that I'm like, I'm just cold. You're doing knee replaced? Get your pressure off. I put a shirt on it and I'm like, oh my gosh, this shrunk. But it didn't. Go with it. Oh, Missy would, and I'm sure you can.
And they last longer.
Yes, yes. That does help. How's Carl doing from his shoulder surgery? Just get our video back up. Okay. When do you note at the time?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So we'll start with number 9. Okay. And just a reminder that we're following Robert's Rules of Order, so everything will need a motion and a second before we enter into any discussion. We're starting with number 9. The board reserves the right to enter into open session authorized by Wisconsin State Statute 19.85 Sub 2 to possibly take action from the closed session and continue with the agenda.
There would be,
Return to open session.
Second the motion?
I got ahead of myself, I apologize.
No problem. We need a roll call vote on this one? Okay. Starting with a roll call vote on my left.
Winter, aye.
Jumati, aye.
Cole, aye.
Bauerheit, aye.
Motion carries. Did you want to say
No
something?
action taken from closed session.
Okay, no action taken. Item number 10, discussion and action, approval of the May 18th, 2023 meeting minutes.
Move to approve the May 18th, 2023 meeting minutes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval of the May 18th, 2023 meeting minutes. I have discussion. I have a couple of questions and comments. On number 13 in the meeting minutes, Supervisor Cole had asked Ben Jordan if Ben Jordan would be interested in joining us on our special road meeting. I'm not speaking for Supervisor Cole. I just wanted to add some points here. We were talking about a special, someone with special experience or additional knowledge. And I just wanted to add here, if we could, that he's actually a leading expert and instructor at UW-Madison for the Transportation Information Center. He's a resource for municipalities and a local government expert regarding Wisconsin roadways for the DOT and the Whistler system. So that is where that comment had actually come from. So if we could add that. The other comment, which we can maybe bring up later, is the next agenda items. We had quite a list, so there was quite a few things with this meeting. We didn't want tonight's meeting to get too long, so some of these items that were not on our agenda for tonight, we'd want to carry over for our next agenda items this evening. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. And that was it. Do we need to amend the motion in the second then, Nick, or can we just,
So ideally, if the motion and the second are willing to amend, that would be the friendly amendment, we could do it that way. Otherwise, you could move to amend it as you just stated. You would need a second, and we can take care of it that way too.
okay. I'll move to amend it.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to amend the meeting minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, so now you have to vote on the amended motion. So what you've done is you've amended the original motion, and so now you'll need to dispense of the amended motion as it's on the floor. So you can then either discuss that further or take that to a vote. But now you're voting, so if you've approved amending that motion, and so now we need to vote on the original motion as amended.
Okay. So I'll entertain a vote. Is correct?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, number 11, discussion and action. Approval of various appointments to Town of Rome committees and commissions. A, Vito apologize.
Giardino.
Giardino, thank you. Library Board expiring January 1st, 2024, 3-year term. B, Lori Giamatti, EMS Board of Commissioners, appointment for term of office. C, William Beckstrom, EMS Board of Commissioners, alternate, appointment until replaced.
Move approval of the committee appointments as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Approval of motion and second to approve of various appointments to the Town of Rome committees and commissions. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 12, discussion only. Presentation by Chad Ziegler, Rome Water Utility Director, regarding water utility rates. Chad? Welcome and good evening.
Good evening.
Is the mic on, Chad?
Not yet.
Thank you.
Everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Have to get closer? Yeah. Okay, well, first of all, thank you for letting me give you kind of a little update on the water rates for the state of Wisconsin and Rome Water Utility. Over the last few years, I hear a lot of conversation about Rome Water Utility having the highest rates in Wisconsin. I just kind of wanted to go through, because there's a lot of factors when you look at water rates. So if you go to, and I can always forward these websites to you, but they're Wisconsin, like with the PSC and the DNR websites. So that first page you got there where you've got minimum quarterly water bill that's highlighted. So when you look at that, and if you pulled that up on the website, you would see number 4 being Rome Water Utility at $78 a quarter. That is your minimum charge per quarter. So yeah, Rome Water Utility for minimum charge is number 4 in the state. But when I say there's 3 factors, or there's more factors, there's actually 3. There's the minimum charge, there's your gallons, and then there's your fire protection. So one of the things on that first stapled copy there, if you start going into your minimum charge and then start adding gallons, Rome Water is $6.60 per 1,000 gallons. So the next page on there, you'll see the highlighted of 6,000 gallons. Now we drop to 18, so we go from 4th to 18. The next page, now this
Chad?
is only water usage.
I have a question. Why are we comparing 2 different classes of water utilities, D and C?
Well, D and C, they're only based on populations.
Okay.
So the comments that are made out in public is Rome Water is the highest rates in Wisconsin. Nobody classifies Rome as C, classes it as D. They just make that statement, that bold statement. And I just want everybody to understand, you know, when you throw that out there in public, that's what they think, but that's not the truth. So when you look at Class Cs and Class Ds, I just took everybody. So the first page is, you know, Class D, Class C. The more users you have, the difference in classes you are. So like, we just changed from Class B to C, within the last couple of years, because we went over that 1,200 mark of users.
So D is a larger.
B is a very much larger, yes. So when you switch that next page and you see 6,000 gallons, we drop to 18. If you go to the next page, it's 12,000 gallons, and so on. I mean, you can kind of see I highlighted where we then start to rate. And the further you go in usage, the further we go down and the number of where we stand as far as charges. Now, this first page does not include any fire protection. So if you look at the second booklet that I gave you, this will give you everybody in the state of Wisconsin that charges fire protection. A lot of municipalities, if you look on that first, or in that far PFP percentage total monthly base, now this is based on monthly, the first one was based on quarterly. Rome charges on a percentage basis, we charge 14% is charged as fire protection for our total rate base. A lot of these other communities, you know, they're 50, 60, 70% is their public fire protection charge. When you add everything together, and I'll just kind of go back to that first booklet, and I kind of added it together. If you go to that first page of the first booklet that I gave you, if you go down to like Junction, or let me go down a little further here. Arlington Water Utility. So our rates are $6.60 per thousand. If you add wherever their fire protection and our fire protection, like their base rate is 54, ours is 78, but they charge $11.41 per thousand versus our $6.60. So really what I just wanted to get across is there's a lot of factors when you look at water utility rates in the state of Wisconsin. And I just want everybody to know that, you know, I spent the last 17 years without a rate increase. I think we've done very well. They still really push us to do a small rate increase yet, even today. And I do know that with working with Jamie, and she got an email from Ellers this last 2 months ago. Usually your small rate cases are 4%. You're allowed without doing a big full rate case. This year it went to 8%. We're not even allowed to do a small rate case because we are functioning very well. It's not that we have a lot of money, it's not that we are short of money. We budget our money very well at the water utility. I'm very proud of everybody that's worked with the water utility, including board members, commissioners. I just wanted to get that across. I wanted to get that across a couple meetings ago. As everybody knows, I'm leaving next week. Friday is my last day. I really appreciate everything the town of Rome has done for me. I really enjoyed my career here, but with me leaving, this is one of the things I wanted to get across to everybody.
Chad, could you share the website where this is kept, so if supervisors wanted to visit it?
If you were to go under the Public Service Commission or the Wisconsin DNR, I don't have the website. Wisconsin Public Service Commission, and just type in water rates, Wisconsin water rates. Otherwise, I can email you their exact website tomorrow when I get into the office.
So where actually are our rates then in comparison to other utilities then?
I would say everybody is pretty close to even. I mean, I don't think that we overcharge. I don't think we're high rates. You go to some municipalities and their quarterly bills are $250, $200, when ours are averaging $100 to $120 per quarter. I think that
the
we
point
have a
is-
pretty good rate compared to a lot of other municipalities. Of course, the bigger users, the bigger cities, their costs going to be a lot lower because they got a lot more users that are paying those fees.
I think the important point that you've made is that we haven't had a rate increase in what, 7 years?
17
17 years, I'm sorry.
17 years. Our
17
last
is
rate
pretty
increase was
impressive.
2006. There's a lot of things that are happening over the next 5 to 7 years.
And yet the rate of return is still
The rate
respective.
of return has stayed at the
About
4
five.
to 7%. We're allowed 7%, but we've stayed at the 4% probably the last 10 years. We try to budget for anything that we know that's coming up, like for the filter, for example. That's probably gonna be $200,000. But we've got that kind of planned out for the 2027, when the safe drinking water loan is paid off. There's your year, same year that you're gonna have to probably pull that, all the media out of that filter, and there's your 200,000 for that year. So we've done our good, planning. We've done really good budgeting over the last,
You've kept
17
it
years.
solvent and functional.
yeah, it's really
Now we-
good. It's a good water utility. It's very hard for me to walk away from, but it's a very good water utility, and
Well, thank you for your years of service, and thank you for bringing this to our attention. It's important that we know this, so that when they say they're the highest rates, they're really not. They're in line with
not.
what
There's so many
everybody else
variables.
is.
And it's kinda, you know, it's there, I can't get one website to give you all three. So, I mean, if you'll just look at how some of these are and add your fire protection to the first page, you'll know what the charges are.
It
Remember,
averages out, it
monthly versus
averages,
quarterly too, you gotta pay attention to. Cause there's a lot of things that are monthly, like the second box is all about monthly, which, you know, first one's quarterly. I can't get off the website quarterly and monthly for both.
well, when you look at the public fire protection fee, it averages out. I mean, the public fire protection fee in a lot of these places, similar to ours that are class, it's really high in other places.
It is, and one of the things that we really looked at when that fire protection came into effect was, being that we only have municipal water in one area, which is Camelot, but the fire protection was planning on going out to the entire town, as it is till today. That portion of that fire protection, we wanted to stay low. That's why when they did, and if you go to the Public Service Commission and try to figure out, you might be able to, you're a school, you might be, I can't, no way. You can't, it's so tough to figure out how they calculate fire protection, but, you know, that way we kept that part low, but the users still had to pay their share.
So if you take all the factors in the equation, our water utility is not,
Our water utility is not the highest in Wisconsin. I think we're fair, and I think we're still gonna stay this way without a rate increase, probably for, I'm not gonna say it, but I don't see a rate increase in the future at all.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Don't hold me to that.
Well, we can't, you won't be.
I won't be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you did a good job. 17 years now.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Hey, this is my last meeting.
Oh,
You can still come back and visit. Are you going? Yes. Where to? There.
Next door.
All right. Number 13, discussion and possible action. Consideration of nominations and vote to fill the vacancy for town board supervisor position. The nominations were due in the office from supervisors by May 25th, and they were in our board packets in a alphabetical order. And the process was determined at our last town board meeting. All right, I will vote to fill the position with William A. Capel.
so are you asking us each to vote? I
We'll
guess I'm
take-
not clear what we're doing right now.
Well, all right, if we look back to the minutes, it said bring forth nominations from board members and the clerk treasurer, and then we voted at our last meeting to include the clerk treasurer, our nominations. So consider the nominations and vote to fill the vacancy for the to fill the vacancy for the town board supervisor position. So do we want to proceed then with the voting to fill the vacancy? So
Well, to be clear, we have two nominations, right?
Right, so we can vote and second. So we did it in alphabetical order.
Second. just because I think that's what's being asked.
Oh, I'm
Was that a
sorry.
Was that a motion?
Yes, I
think
made a
that's what-
motion.
Oh, okay, you didn't phrase it as a motion, you just said I vote for somebody.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
That's okay,
I'm
okay.
very sorry.
Okay,
So-
now we're on the same page.
I'm very
Thank
sorry.
you.
So, discussion and possible action, consider the nominations and vote to fill the vacancy for the town board supervisor position. And I stated that we have two of them before us as they were brought according to our minutes at the last meeting by May 25th. They were in our board packet alphabetically, which are William Keppel and Mark Lebecki. So I move to nominate to fill the vacancy with William Keppel. Is there a second?
I'll second.
So there's a motion and a second to fill the vacancy with William Keppel. All in favor? Or I'll take a roll call vote. We'll do it by roll call votes. Starting on I'll start on my right. Supervisor Bauerheit.
I think William Cap will make an excellent supervisor. I
I'm
would just,
taking a vote on this
right,
motion and
I'm gonna give
second.
you my vote. That's what you're asking
Oh,
for.
yes, okay.
So I would withhold my vote to vote for my candidate, even though I feel Bill would be an excellent candidate.
So is that
I
a,
vote no.
okay, Jackie?
I'll vote yes for Mr. Keppel, not discounting the qualities of the other candidate either. I think that's,
Okay. Deputy Clerk Treasurer Wendy Newsom.
Yes.
Lori Jamati, Chairwoman, yes. Supervisor Minter,
Much like Supervisor Cole said, I believe they both have, good qualities. I will vote yes on William Keppel.
so roll call votes.
Carried.
Motion carries for filling the vacancy with William A. Keppel. I want to thank both gentlemen for applying for or accepting their nominations, and I thank all supervisors and our deputy clerk treasurer.
And I would just say to both to the incoming supervisor and the other candidate, don't forget, there will be an election next spring for the supervisor position, so feel free to take out your nomination papers after December 1st.
Yes, thank you very much.
Madam Chair, I believe oath of offices were done for both, depending on the determination. So if you would like to swear in,
Yes, we can
That-
do that. So should we take a 5-minute recess to do that? Yes,
could.
all right, so I would take a 5-minute recess so that we can do the swearing in of our new board supervisor.
are we comfortable if I just continue filming and we will film the swearing in?
Yes, that would be very nice, thank you. And thank you, Mr. Lebecki and Bill.
Wanna come forward? No, you can come up here. We can both use this microphone, I think. All right. Please raise your right hand. I, William Keppel,
I, William Capel,
having been appointed to the office of Town of Rome Supervisor,
having been appointed to the office of Town of Rome Supervisor,
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability.
and will faithfully discharge the duties of this office to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
You will sign right there. I'll take that, and you can have a seat next to Mr. Minter over there.
Or you can sit here. Congratulations.
oh, he sits down right away.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll leave that up to her.
moving forward.
Item number 14.
Yes, number 14. Oh, yes. Call the meeting back to order. Do we need a motion and a second for a recess? Okay, thank you. All right, number 14. Discussion and possible action. Approval of resolution number 23 dash providing for the sale of 1,380,000 general obligation promissory notes, series 2023A for road maintenance projects and improvements.
Move to approve the resolution for the sale of $1,380,000 of general obligation bonds for road improvement and maintenance.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second for the approval of resolution 23 for the sale of $1,380,000 of general obligation promissory notes. All in favor?
Madam Chair,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna ask if you wanted an explanation of any of the items that were in your packet this evening.
Oh, do we need an explanation of any of the items? No. Do we want any discussion on any of those? No. Okay. Thank you, Jamie. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Right. Item number 15, discussion and possible action. Approval of resolution number 23 in support of Knowles Nelson Stewardship Program Grant, award for the acquisition of 240-acre parcel in the town of Rome by Adams County for forestry, conservation, and public outdoor recreation purposes.
I move to approve the resolution in support of the Knowles Nelson Stewardship Grant Program to award the acquisition of a 240-acre parcel in the town of Rome by Adams County, forestry, conservation, and public outdoor recreational purposes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of the resolution number 23 in support of Knowles Nelson Stewardship Program Grant award for the acquisition of the 240-acre parcel in the town of Rome by Adams County. And I'll give us a chance to get some information on this and for discussion. So I actually received this letter, which you have attached to the resolution that we had Nick draw up for us. Was last Saturday, I believe it was. It was very interesting regarding the Knowles Nelson, and this was awarded, well, it's tentatively awarded to Adams County to be added to the county forest program, 240-acre parcel. It wasn't actually where we initially thought it would be. We were surprised that it's going to be on a patchy avenue and 9th. So if there's any additional information that Jamie or Nick want to share with us on this.
I can, just to add a couple points. Although it wasn't completely in the area that we had suspected until we got the map, and I believe the map is now in your packets, it is still consistent with the comprehensive plan work that's been going on by both the subcommittee and the plan commission. So great news there, I think, for the town. So pursuant to state statute, once we receive the notification by DNR, then we have the option to adopt a resolution. Really, it's a non-binding resolution, but it's a resolution that is either in support or against the proposed grant. This resolution, as it's drafted up, does two things. First, it expresses appreciation and gratitude for the Knowles Nelson Stewardship Program for selection of the property in the town for consideration and possibly granting their award. And then second, it expresses support for that area in support of what we've been communicated with as consideration for the program award. So great news, I think, as far as the area of consideration and fitting with our long-term planning for preservation and recreation.
And the reason it says tentative is that this then gets forwarded on to the Joint Finance Committee in Madison for their final approval and awarding of this acquisition, this grant. So that's what's pretty exciting about it. So it was a surprise to everybody, including Adams County. So that's what's nice
So
about it.
the grant was not applied for by Adams County then? It was,
Nope. It was
Just out of the blue from
from
Knowles
the
Nelson?
timber company.
Okay.
The timber company was sold to another timber company in Atlanta, because when I called the forester up in Tomahawk, he was the one that, because when I originally got the letter, I didn't even have a map, so that's why we were kind of trying to figure out where it was, and we were excited to find out that it was definitely within an area of town that was set aside in our comp plan, so.
So pardon my ignorance on this whole fact, but assuming we get the awarded grant and then that 240 acres goes into county forest land, what does that then do? Obviously, it preserves the land. Does it then have other uses? I mean, will it become, used for recreation, walking, whatever,
Hunting.
at that point in time?
Hunting,
Yep. It'll be owned by Adams County. Yep.
And it's near the other Adams County forest already?
Yep.
so. All right, so is there any more discussion or questions? Otherwise, we'll go ahead and vote. All right, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So, all right, number 16, discussion and possible action. Recommendation from the Parks and Recreation Committee for Community Planning and Consulting, LLC, to update the 2018 Town of Rome Comprehensive Outdoor Rec Plan.
I move that we approve the recommendation from the Parks and Recreation Committee for updating the Community Outdoor Recreation Plan by Community Planning and Consulting, LLC.
I'd like to second that motion.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second for the recommendation from the Parks and Recreation Committee for the Community Planning and Consulting, LLC, to update the 2018 Town of Rome Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan. Any discussion?
Just a note that both Bob and myself have worked with Jeff Sanders the first time around on the first plan, and I think it's a good deal.
As did I. It was an excellent plan, and I'm really glad that we re-upped with Jeff Sanders. I know I was at the meeting when they discussed who they were gonna go with, and I'm glad that they decided to re-up with Jeff. So I think it's really exciting. So, all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Number 17, discussion and possible action. Supervisor's feedback regarding the draft strategic plan public input online survey.
I included just a brief memo in the packet and then the public survey, the draft public survey again. Again, just looking for some feedback or potentially maybe some larger discussion that I could share back with our consultant if we feel like the items that are on the survey are incorporating what we've heard at the public input session or what we've been hearing as far as input we'd like to receive for the strategic plan.
I wasn't at the public input session, but it seems one topic that comes up quite a bit that, unless you feel it's being addressed in here, is water safety, and water ordinances or regulations, whatever the right word is that we should be using. Maybe that would be something to add to see if people really feel that that is important.
Yeah, and I think that would go under the last question where it says the next 3 to 5 year priorities.
You know, one of the other things that came up at that open session was someone suggested the need for a city planner. And maybe that we should pursue something like that. Maybe that ought to be on the questionnaire.
I agree. Community city planning, or
Yeah.
a planner.
I have a question. Will I be allowed to input the strategic plan as other board members have? Is it too
Yes.
late?
No, we can
okay.
still, because we went out to June 16th, so
Okay.
I will send you,
I'd like to get an appointment and
Yep.
do that.
it's a unique link in that Calendarly program that's just for the town of Rome, so I can forward you that link and you can schedule it tomorrow.
Thank you.
Are there any other additions or suggestions or ideas?
And if,
I guess I have a question about when he says short-term rentals, what he's meaning. I think that we need a little bit more explanation there on short-term rentals, because it says, based on what you see to be priorities on the town of Rome over the next 3 to 5 years, please rate the following topics of being no importance, or 10 being highest importance, and it just says short-term rentals. Is it, you want short-term rentals? Do you not want short-term rentals?
Yeah, are they in the town proper, or are they part of Sand Valley's development over there? You know, that could be different.
Well, and I needs more explanation. Short-term rentals doesn't mean anything.
And we just had that discussion at Community Development Authority meeting tonight, is that how are they impacting our housing shortage? You know, as we see more short-term rentals consuming houses, it's impacting our housing availability, you know, mid-range housing prices. It's like people wanting to move here, what's available for sale? So, and properties there's less available properties for sale, empty lots. So it has an impact in a lot of different ways. So I agree. Short-term rentals, how, why, what, where? I mean, maybe does that need to be a question all by itself? Based on the next 3 to 5 years, how do short-term rentals impact our?
I would strongly encourage him to get a one question dedicated to short-term rentals, and maybe some topics on which he's asking for input.
It kind of comes down to short-term rental density.
Which is a
Well, it
question
doesn't
that comes up at.
necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Somebody might
but
be in favor of a
someone-
short-term
I mean,
rental.
but that's kind of the question to me.
There's a big issue on density,
Right,
yes. And
density.
can we use density to control short-term rentals?
The only, where you have affordable housing, you might also want to list senior housing.
I put housing variety or availability, I'll mark senior too, but expanding that of
55
what is
plus.
affordable, that,
Affordable's kind of a, I don't know what that word means, that
55
could
plus.
be, what's affordable to it.
Age is a matter of the mind.
May I just add to
Yes.
the short-term rental point that Supervisor Capel made? So it may be beneficial, if you are pulling that out to its own question, also to clarify that short-term rentals, what that means, right? So some people may think short-term rentals are 3 nights or less, where the statutory definition and how we regulate them is definitely different than that, right? Because we do prohibit short-term rentals, as they're defined in state law, for those short periods, we do prohibit those.
Right.
And so it's probably important to make people, so educate them on what we're asking when we're asking short-term rentals.
The only
Again,
problem
not
is,
necessarily referencing hotels, right?
Could we
We're
call
referencing-
them VRBOs or Airbnbs?
Or
Would that be
just
more
defi-
accurate than short-term rental?
I mean, those are lodging marketplace providers, but they're not necessarily what a short-term rental
But
is.
it's like calling a copy machine a Xerox machine.
no,
No,
different.
Not quite, and not at this point, but I mean,
Close.
they are vehicles for advertising and renting, certainly. They're marketplace providers, as the state would define them, but I think us defining what short-term rental is probably important, so people know what they're giving input on. And we do have a definition, we adopt the state's definition, as it relates to short-term rentals.
you do need a conditional use permit to have your house marketed as a VRBO or any of those services. So it's still a short-term rental, it's just being marketed by Airbnb or VRBO or,
So lodging market, when I say lodging marketplace provider, that is a state definition for those VRBOs, HomeAways, Airbnbs, that's what they call that. But when we talk about short-term rental, you know, that definition, we do have that definition, we
Yes.
adopt the states, and we probably should just provide that in there somewhere, so people understand what they're providing that input on, particularly.
When's the target for the survey going out?
shortly after the 16th, so we would look at an update at our next meeting.
I think we want to be careful how he asks that question, right, too, so we're not opening up a can of worms that we get ourselves into a whole debate on short-term rentals. It's just more so how that got on here, just short-term rentals, but, right.
We can work on a sole question that could add the definition and, yep.
Right. One question I had too was how we look and how we present ourselves as a town as far as beautification, the Gateway District. If we could think of a question like that now that we've gotten, through community development, we're starting with a mural project, how we're looking as a town when we present ourselves with the Rome Town Center, and if you could think of something, Jamie, with what we've discussed at CDA with the beautification projects. And maybe Bill has some ideas with other questions that we have on this list with ideas. I was trying to see if we could nail it down. There's nothing really, they say trees, fill up vacant lots, things like that. But people say plant trees, but something like that. Maybe I'll think of something and I can get it to you, but,
I made some notes, too.
okay. We had our wayfinding signs that we had talked about at CDA. Do we have any more discussion on that item? Did we take a motion in a second? Okay, we just had discussion only? Okay. All right, so we're good on that. Number 17, so we'll move on. All right. Number 18, discussion and possible action. Review change proposals regarding new Rome Town Center Band Shell Pavilion project for the following items. Change proposal 1, Advantage plumbing and heating, septic supplies, and fixture cost increases.
I move that we approve the Advantage Plumbing and Heating's price increases for the septic system and the finished plumbing, which totals $749.
Second.
How much was it?
The total?
Override.
It's an additional $749 for approximately
Make the check out.
$32,000.
Excuse me, don't. All right, so we have a motion and a second to approve the changes regarding the Rome Town Center Band Shell Pavilion project for the following items of change proposal 1 to Advantage plumbing and heating for septic supplies and fixture cost increases totaling $749. Is there any discussion?
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there money budgeted for this increase?
We will be able to cover this.
Okay.
So this is, we had originally, I do have a question. We had originally a total of 7 with the step railing, but that was gonna come in, they were gonna figure an alternative for that. So now this would give us a total of 6 changes. But this is change number 1.
It's only for Advantage Plumbing. The other changes are for other contractors.
Yeah, we bid them as separate projects, and so
Okay.
each change order is done by individual contracts that we have. So this is the first change order for Advantage, but it was 6 for Eagle. But after the board's last discussion about asking contractors to look at alternative methods and put a memo together, they chose to look at alternative methods.
Okay, so this is this is just number 1 then, so we're back to number 1.
Well, we approved one for cabinetry and something else last year.
We approved 5 previous other change orders for Eagle, yes.
But we still have enough money to cover all of these so far. Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, number 19. Discussion and action. Approval of Class A combination retail liquor licenses for a period of July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Dolgen Corp. LLC doing business as Dollar General Store number 16744 229 State Highway 13 South, Nakusa, Wisconsin. Quick Trip Incorporated, doing business as Quick Trip, 12818 251 State Highway 13 South, Nakusa, Wisconsin.
Move approval of the Class A combination retail liquor licenses as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of the Class A combination retail liquor licenses for the period of July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024 for Dolgen Corp. LLC doing business as Dollar General Store and Quick Trip Incorporated doing business as Quick Trip Store 1218. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 20, discussion and possible action, approval of Class B beer license for the period of July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Papa Bears Mini Golf LLC, 266 Matterhorn Trail, Nakusa, Wisconsin. Rome Country Meats and Deli, 264 Geneva Trail, Nakusa, Wisconsin.
I move we approve the Class B liquor licenses for Papa Bears and Rome County Meats, Country Meats.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of Class B beer license for the period of July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024 for Papa Bears Mini Golf LLC and Rome Country Meats and Deli. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 21, discussion and possible action. Approval of renewal license for Class B combination liquor licenses for a period of July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Barnum Bay Enterprises LLC doing business as the Lure Bar and Grill, 1735 Archer Lane, Nakusa, Wisconsin. East Briar Incorporated doing business as the Lakes, 1472 Apache Lane, Nakusa, Wisconsin. Lake Arrowhead Association Incorporated doing business as Lake Arrowhead and Greenside Grill at 1195 Apache Lane, Nakusa, Wisconsin. Lake Camelot Lodge LLC doing business as Camelot on the Lake, 298 Leisure Lane, Nakusa, Wisconsin. Lake Sherwood Property Owners Association doing business as Lake Sherwood Lodge, 1146 West Queens Way, Nakusa, Wisconsin. Sand Valley LLC doing business as Sand Valley Golf Resort, 597 Leopold Way, Nakusa, Wisconsin. The Dirty Ore Supper Club doing business as the Ore Supper Club, 1682 Apache Lane, Nakusa, Wisconsin. KMC Tux LLC doing business as Cal's Corner, 382 State Highway 13, Nakusa, Wisconsin. Romano's LLC, 108 County Road Z, Nakusa, Wisconsin.
I move that we approve the Class B combination liquor licenses for the 11 businesses as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of the renewal of Class B combination liquor licenses for the period of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024 for the 11 businesses as presented and listed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 22, discussion and action. Approval of 3 temporary Class B retailer licenses for the Heart of Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce to sell fermented malt beverages at the Gather by the Gazebo concert series on June 13th, 2023, July 11, 2023, and August 8th, 2023.
Move approval.
Second it.
We have a motion and a second for approval of 3 temporary Class B retailer licenses for the Heart of Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce to sell fermented malt beverages at the Gather by Gazebo concert series. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Dates and items for future agenda meetings.
We would have an additional closed session at our next meeting. We will have several plan commission items. We have a couple site plan of operations upcoming. And we would have the return of that strategic plan survey. I did send out an email. We should have an update from Tri-Lakes. I sent the email with the letter that was attached about asking shared costs in the survey, so we could bring that back if I would hear some additional information. Also, I just want to give I will forward out a memo, but give an update about the transition with the Rome Water Utility with Chad's retirement. So
Okay,
Madam Chairman?
yes.
I would like to see an update of our dead timber and brush code ordinance, at least for zones 1 through 3, for people who have failed to respond and maybe have been ticketed already. What are we going to do to continue to encourage those people to do something?
Yep, I can do we keep a spreadsheet, so I can.
I'd like to see an update townwide.
Well, I
It
don't-
is all 5 sections.
If it's all 5, that's fine. I just thought maybe it might be too much to talk about at one sitting.
No, we can do it, we can provide the numbers for all 5 sections.
Great.
Yep.
Because I had also asked that we talk about the brush piles that are still in the road right away, as well as, you know, what's left over from the storm damage, because there's still quite a bit that's leaning over the road right away, as well as what they had cut and left laying that they just haven't had an opportunity to deal with yet, because there's been so much. And see how we might be able to handle that. We also had leftover on next agenda items from our last meeting. All supervisors, I asked that you bring your priorities and goals to our next meeting for the next 2 years for topics of discussions and ideas of interest for a retreat committee meeting of the whole. That we'll do after our special road meeting that Jamie and I are working on an agenda with Brad. Also talk about the urban nuisance deer management. We had talked, or Jamie's following up for the special permitting. You were gonna talk about special areas in town that the archery group up can work with the DNR to take care of that.
Yep, and I'd like to meet with that group just to see what their input as far as where they feel comfortable or where they've seen issues. Some of those individuals are very familiar with the town. So if not the next meeting, shortly thereafter.
Okay, you're talking about people that were concerned with the areas of town that had deer issues?
I'm talking about coordinating with the individuals that do the shooting, where they would feel comfortable potentially having stations in town.
Oh.
Or locating where they've seen deer issues in town.
Excellent, okay,
Just coordinating with them.
perfect.
I've let them know that the town is interested in doing some coordination, so.
Okay, great. And I think we've got everything else that we needed to carry. Oh, yes.
There will be additional liquor licenses on the next agenda.
All right, additional liquor licenses, all righty. Supervisor Cole, anything?
No.
Supervisor Minter? Supervisor,
Just whatever committees you're gonna appoint me to.
yes, okay. Yes, appointment to Plan Commission for Supervisor Capel. We may be able to, we have Plan Commission next week already. We may be able to, I'll have to talk to Attorney Flanagan about that. We may be able to do that because we have that meeting next week with all those. Okay,
Well, we would have this special meeting on the 12th, and your plan commission's the 13th.
yeah,
So
all
you
right,
could do it as part of the special meeting.
all right. Yeah,
Got it on my calendar.
all right, we'll figure that out. Okay. And I think we got everything else that was carrying over. We took care of the corp. Okay, we've got all of that. We've got the survey on the next meeting too, because you've got the mailing list taken care of now with, all right, so I think we've got everything. If anything else comes up. All right, so then next meeting date and time.
So we'd have the special meeting on Monday, June 12th at 1 PM. That will be for discussion about road projects.
Yes.
We did put together the list at the last meeting about items. As the chair mentioned, we'll be working on putting that together. And then the regular scheduled meeting would be the 15th at 5 PM.
Jamie, will you get that information to us prior to that date?
We are gonna try, as much as possible. I'm not, it will be a lot of information, right? It'll be a
I
lot.
understand that.
Yeah,
That's why
so,
I'm asking.
yeah, we will try and get as much ahead as we can. It might come in pieces, but we'll try and get as much out ahead as we can.
Thank you.
And for that, we will have, what we might do is, even if you get a, electronic packet, because some of that will be, booklets, we probably will just do a paper packet for everyone, so you have the information.
Right, so we've got that. All right, meeting adjourned.
6:53 PM.